Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Operator Trucking, where we create the dream 1 mile at a time. Today, we're going to be talking about how I grossed $24,745 for the month of June at Mercer Transportation, and we're getting started right now. So I grossed almost $25,000 for the month of June after having a really rough month in May. But was it enough to actually make a profit? If you are a new owner operator or thinking about becoming an owner operator, it is very important to know your numbers. On this channel, I talk about different tips about being an owner operator. And one of the things I go over are my honest, no bullcrap numbers as an owner operator. They're not always great, but they're 100% accurate and they're 100% honest. If you're still watching, go ahead and smash that like button. Closing in on 4,000 subscribers. Just want to say thank you guys for checking out my videos. Really means a lot to me. I know I'm not a big channel, but I feel like the people that I reach, they're actually getting a lot of value out of it, and they appreciate the fact that I don't bullcrap. I give real numbers, even when they're not good. All right, so for the month of June, we did 6 loads. Uh, let's see here, North Carolina to Sanford, Maine, and then Medway, Maine to West Roxbury, Massachusetts, Mansfield, Massachusetts to Mechanicsville, Virginia, Greenville, North Carolina to North Las Vegas, Nevada. I got really lucky and picked up a load right there in North Las Vegas, Nevada, going to Moxie, Washington. That rarely ever happens, especially here at Mercer. If you know anything about Mercer, Mercer's a good company, but if you're in the dry van division, you're going to have more deadhead than your average dry van operations. Let's see here. And the last load we did was from Whidbey Island, Naval Air Station, Washington, to Patuxent River, Naval Air Station, Maryland. My highest grossing load for the month was $7,472.79, and that was from Greenville, North Carolina to North Las Vegas, 2,600 paid miles at $2.86 per mile. My highest per mile load was $4.58 per mile for 941 miles, 4,307 miles. Gross for the month was $24,745.58. Booked miles was 8,209. Paid miles average was $3.01. Total miles, all miles for the month of June was 10,439 miles. That's actually the most miles that I've done in a month, and that's about where you want to be, somewhere like around 10,000 miles altogether. And the deadhead on this one for this month wasn't too terrible, so no complaints. My net per mile, meaning like after all deadhead and all the extra miles and everything, was $2.37. Now my gross 301 was above the national dry van average of somewhere between 240 and 250 a mile, but my net with all miles was 237, which is about 3 cents below the average of the national dry van. For the most part, when you talk about national dry vans, they're giving you the average rate per mile before deadhead. So the fact that I did 237 after deadhead is actually still pretty good. For the month of June, I deposited $16,265. I distributed that between 3 accounts. One is my cash flow account, one is my maintenance account, and the other is my tax and tires account. All right, so let's jump into the expenses. For the month of June, I used 1,522 gallons of diesel. My total cost was $6,327.85 at 61 cents per mile. My trailer rental fee was $725 at 7 cents per mile. Licensing and permits was $509.63 or 5 cents per mile. Insurance was $238 or 2 cents per mile. $97.08 on oil at 3 cents per mile. Oil was $97.08 or 1 cent per mile. Repairs and parts for the month of June, $2,542.68 or 24 cents per mile. What I had going on in June as far as repairs was I did have a coolant leak. I had a coolant leak. I needed to get I had an oil leak, and there was something else. I had a couple of things going on. I stopped at a TA. They took care of all of it. However, once I got close to my destination, I started having a coolant leak again. Come to find out, it was my water pump. That actually carried over into the month of July. So here we are at the beginning of the month of July, and I'm already at $2,250 for maintenance and repairs. Cell phone bill was $400 or 4 cents per mile. Man from the fifth floor. I spent $10.50 on loading my fuel card. I spent $30.50 on scales. Typically speaking, I will scale anything that's over 30,000 pounds. Tolls ate me up this month. Tolls actually ate me up this month. I was at $772.42 or 7 cents per mile. And it doesn't sound like a lot because the money I made was good going up into the Northeast. If I had more time, I would have went around. Some of those routes would have added like another 100, 150 miles to my route. And so that's when you have to break out the calculator and figure out if it's worth it. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. $772 is the highest that I've had so far this year, and actually a while. But considering, you know, the decent money that I made going up there, it offsets it. So I'm not too terribly concerned about it. Office supplies was $75 or 1 cent per mile. Basically, my office supply is my monthly subscription to QuickBooks for me to run payroll. Miscellaneous operating expenses was $309.15 or 4 cents per mile. Now, when I say miscellaneous, this is the payroll expenses. Basically, when I paid myself and the payroll expenses as the owner that I had to match. Food was a little ridiculous this month. I was in Vegas for a few days. I kind of took advantage of that. $882.62 or 8 cents per mile. That's pretty ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. This month in July, I'm gonna try to cut that in half and be more disciplined. But hey, it's all about counting your pennies. So yeah, I paid myself $5,100 this month or 49 cents per mile. This year, I've been paying myself a little more. Obviously, I've been making a little more, but you know, I'm really trying to build something. It's really hard to justify only paying myself $500 a week and wanting to continue to do this job. As much as I love it, it's hard to pay yourself $500 a week and then after taxes, you're like, now I have other sources of income, so it's not that bad. But it's like, I think for a while I was doing 750, but right now I'm going to keep it at 1,000. I might drop back down to 750 depending on how the second half of the year goes. But like I said, it's just really hard to find that motivation to do this if only paying yourself $500 a week, even at $1,000 a week. But I can handle $1,000 a week. As I've said in previous videos, if you can't live off of $52,000 a year, don't become an owner operator. All right, so my total cost per mile for the month of June was $1.73. Actually, I'm not upset about that at all. Typically speaking, I say I'm usually around $1.50, but obviously in this market and me paying myself a little more, it's going to be a little more. But I'm pretty happy about $1.73. So we do the math. 237 was what my net was, minus $1.73, my expenses per mile. So that leaves me with 64 cents per mile profit, and that's after paying myself. So June was actually a really, really good month. In this market, and this is me being leased to a carrier, 24,000 was my best month probably ever at Mercer. But in this market, you could probably shoot for 28,000, and that'd be a practical goal. So I grossed $24,745.58, and my expenses were $18,101.43. That leaves me with $6,644.15 profit for the month of June. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and consider subscribing. July is already off to a rough start. I've got some boost issues. I'm not sure if it's my charger cooler or if it's something going on with my EGR or the turbo issue or whatever. But so that's something that I've got to figure out this month. And like I said, I'm already at $2,500 for maintenance because my last repair that I did actually happened on the 1st of July, and that's when I paid for it. So it rolls over into this month. But hey, hope you guys have a happy 4th of July weekend. Although by the time you guys get the video, it'll probably be well past that. But as I always say, not about how much you make, but how much you keep. Hard times don't last. Hard truckers do last, but definitely not least. Stay smooth, my friends.